Hi all, welcome to RN tutorials that is on engineering mechanics. Today, now we are going to discuss about the lecture 2 on parallelogram law of forces. What is the definition of parallelogram law? Means here what do you mean by parallelogram law of forces? Here the statement is given as if the two forces acting on a body at a point are represented in magnitude and direction by the two adjacent sides of a parallelogram, then the diagonal passing through their point of intersection represents the resultant force in both magnitude and direction. Okay, so here we are saying if the two forces acting on a body at a point, if they can be represented by the two adjacent sides of parallelogram, then the resultant of those two forces will be the diagonal of the parallelogram, which can be passing through the intersecting point of the two forces acting, that is two adjacent sides. So here assume P is a force which is acting in horizontal direction, and next Q is the another force acting at certain angle with the P force. So if we represent these two forces by the two adjacent sides of parallelogram, so the resultant of these two forces can be the diagonal of the parallelogram which is passing through the intersecting point of these two sides. Okay, so here O is the intersecting point between the two adjacent sides or the forces. So I'm completing the parallelogram by using the two force directions by drawing the two remaining adjacent sides, and next I am going to draw the diagonal, so which represents the resultant force of the two forces. So this resultant force is equal to the resultant force of P and Q in magnitude and direction. Okay, so means here if we have drawn these two forces with particular length related to the force value, so when we draw this one, so this can be equal to the resultant force. The length of this diagonal will be equal to the length of the force. Okay, so this is the statement of the parallelogram law of forces. So next we are going to discuss the analysis of parallelogram law. That means here analytically what is the formula for finding the resultant force of parallelogram law. So here again I have taken the diagram, that is giving the parallelogram by using the two adjacent forces acting on a particular body at certain point, that is O. So here extra construction lines we have to draw for getting the resultant force in terms of P and Q. Okay, that is the resultant force formula. So here draw a line, vertical line, that should be perpendicular to the horizontal line, that is OA. So from C point before that we represent the angle between the two forces, that is P and Q, that is alpha. So next draw the vertical line from C. So this line is a vertical line from C and it is perpendicular to the horizontal line OA, that is force P. And again extend this OA until it intersects the vertical line which is drawn from the C. So like this. Now give the intersecting point name as D. Okay. So again here we have to observe that the angle between these two forces is alpha, so automatically the angle between AD and AC is also equal to alpha because OB and AC are two parallel lines. Okay, so here the angle also here will be equal to alpha. So here the angle is alpha. How can we say? Means here from figure AOB is equal to alpha, and next again AC and OB is equal to Q. Okay, AC equal to OB is equal to Q. Why? Because means here OB and AC are two parallel lines with equal length. So automatically AC is equal to OB is equal to Q. And similarly OA and BC equal to P. OA equal to BC equal to P means. Why means again here OA and BC are two parallel lines and OA means here the P force, so automatically the BC is also can be equal to P force. Okay, and next here angle AOB is equal to CAD is equal to alpha. Angle AOB means here AOB, that is alpha. Automatically it can be equal to CAD. Okay, CAD. Why means AC and OB are two parallel lines, and AD and OA are on the same line. So automatically this angle will be also equal to alpha. Okay, so represent the angle as alpha on the diagram. Next, from right angle triangle ODC. From right angle triangle, here what is the right angle triangle ODC? This O, D and C. From this right angle triangle, from Pythagoras theorem, we can write down OC square is equal to this one, diagonal OC square equal to OD square plus CD square, that is the Pythagoras theorem. Okay, so again here OD, so here OD can be written as, total OD can be written as OA plus AD. Okay, so here OC square can be equal to OA plus AD whole square plus CD square. So write down OA plus AD whole square plus CD square. Okay, from the figure we can write the formula like this. Next again, from right angle triangle again ADC. So here right angle triangle ADC. From this right angle triangle again we can write it as, by considering the sine rule. By considering the sine rule means here take sine alpha. Sine alpha is equal to, we can write it as opponent by hypotenuse. Opponent is CD and hypotenuse by hypotenuse means AC. So sine alpha is equal to CD by AC. So why you are writing this sine alpha is equal to CD by AC means here we need to find out what is OA, what is AD and what is CD. Okay. Here we are finding what do you mean by CD here. Okay. CD means CD can be determined by the CAD right angle triangle. So sin alpha is equal to, we have written it as CD by AC. So we can write it as CD is equal to AC into sin alpha. So automatically here from the figure we can say that AC is equal to Q. Here also we have written AC is equal to OB is equal to Q. That means AC is equal to Q. So CD can be written as Q sin alpha. Okay, CD is Q sin alpha. So we have determined CD. So next we have to find out OA and AD. So automatically here we know that OA is equal to P. Okay, remaining we need to find out AD. So for finding this AD, we need to consider again a right angle triangle CAD. Okay, same CAD or ADC we can say it as ADC or CAD. Okay, so consider right angle triangle ADC, and here again for finding the AD, consider cos theta rule. So here cos alpha is equal to, we can write it as adjacent by hypotenuse, that is AD by AC. So cos alpha, that is cos alpha is equal to AD by AC, adjacent by hypotenuse. Okay, so next again AD equal to, we can write it as AC cos alpha. So again here AC means we know that AC is equal to again Q, that is equal to the force Q. So AD is equal to, we can write it as Q cos alpha. So here observe again, we got what do you mean by CD, and we got what do you mean by AD, and we know what do you mean by OA. Here OA is P and AD is we got as Q cos alpha, and CD here we got as Q sin alpha. So substitute all these values in this OC square formula. Okay. So here OC square is equal to, again I have written OA plus AD whole square plus CD square. In these terms, substitute the formulas we got. So that is P plus Q cos alpha whole square plus Q sin alpha square. Okay. So here elaborate this P plus Q cos alpha whole square in terms of A plus B whole square. So the formula A plus B whole square is A square plus B square plus 2AB. Okay. So here P square plus Q square cos square alpha plus 2PQ cos alpha, and remaining term is this one Q sin alpha whole square, that is Q square sin square alpha. So here in this term observe the Q square is common for cos square alpha and sin square alpha. So if we common this Q square, that means if you write it as Q square half cos square alpha plus sin square alpha means sin cos square theta plus sin square theta. So by the uh, trigonometry rules, it can be equal to 1. So automatically we can write it as q square. So here finally we get the formula as p square plus q square plus 2pq cos alpha. Okay, this is the final formula. So here OC means here it is the diagonal of the parallelogram. So that is equal to the resultant force. So r square is equal to, we can write it as p square plus q square. Why we got q square means when you common this q square from these two terms, we get cos square theta plus sin square theta term. So that can be equal to 1. So like that we got the q square plus remaining term 2pq cos alpha. So this is the formula which is used for finding the resultant force when we can represent the two forces acting on a body with the two adjacent sides of the parallelogram. Okay, so this is the analytical formula for finding the resultant force for the two forces which are acting on a body and which can be assumed as the two adjacent sides of the parallelogram. Okay, so this is the way of finding the resultant force for the two forces, so by the parallelogram law. So I hope you understand this explanation and derivation, what is parallelogram law and how we can find out the resultant force by the formula which is obtained by the parallelogram law. So if you really like this explanation, please like my video and please subscribe to my channel. And still if you are having any doubts, please feel free to give a comment to my video, so I will try to clarify your doubts. And thanks for watching my video, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Thank you all.